And now I'd like to introduce you to our woman. This woman, Kerry Albanese, I'll let her tell you all about her war. She was in Desert Storm, and she's got a lot to tell. She's quite a leader. She's been a leader in business and education, in life. And so give your attention to Kerry.
Good morning. I also wanted to show you that mothers, daughters, and sisters also go to war today. And if you have any relatives that might fall in this category, it's very interesting to see the types of things we do in the military. I was with a medical unit, the 350th Evacuation Hospital. That is a field hospital, so everything we did was conducted in tents. We were in Saudi Arabia. We were about 60 miles from the border, and we were one of the first hospitals that very seriously wounded soldiers would come to. People like Dick would bring them by ground ambulance, or other military personnel would bring them in by helicopter. And our hospital was capable of taking care of some of the most critical traumas in order to stabilize our soldiers and then send them to usually Germany for further treatment. So when they came to us, we had them in intensive care units, sometimes for a long period of time, depending on their trauma. And then they would go into our intermediate care, and then we would evacuate them to another more comprehensive hospital. But everything was done in the field. We did not have electricity like we think of electricity. We had to use generators. And before we even went to Desert Storm, we had to send an advance party over to Germany to draw all of our medical equipment. That's where it was stored, in Germany. And so all that medical equipment had to be put on large mill vans and shipped to Saudi Arabia. So then we had to meet the ships and identify our equipment. And it was really, really a very extensive operation. Okay, we were in Dhahran when the air war started, and Dick talked about being scared and fear, and that was one of the first times that I did overcome my fear. I remember that we had to put on all of our gas masks because they thought that it was a chemical war, and I just shook for about 5 minutes trying to get all my equipment on as fast as I possibly could, because I didn't want anything to happen to myself, because I wanted to come home to my little girl, who was 8 at the time, and my husband, who was a Vietnam veteran. So I had my mask on, and finally I calmed myself down and overcame my fear. The only other time I had fear, and it was only twice in Desert Storm, was when we had to go get an immunization, and this was an anthrax shot. And I don't know if anybody else has ever had anthrax immunization, but it is like a sledgehammer hitting your arm. And I can usually take immunizations, but that scared me as well. But our hospital worked 24/7. We had x-ray technicians, we had thoracic surgeons, we had orthopedic surgeons, we ran an ER because we also supported troops that had minor traumas around our particular hospital. We had clinics that we ran 24/7, orthopedic clinics, because people would fall or break a leg or hurt their hand. And then the other thing we did was we traveled all over Saudi Arabia supporting the troops, combat troops, by giving them immunizations and just giving them good medical advice. And then the last thing we did, which is kind of interesting, I think, is that when the war ended, we started getting POWs, prisoners of war. And at first, there were just a few trickling in, but after a while, there were so many that we had to actually set up prisoner of war camps and send medical personnel there to take care of our prisoners of war. So my hospital was from Canton, the 350th Evac Hospital. We were the first hospital in Ohio to be activated, and we were the last ones to come home. But I'll tell you who my heroes are. Okay. First of all, my husband is my hero. He is a Vietnam veteran, and like Dick, did not receive all of the accolades that, as a veteran, he should have received. And I know when I came home from Desert Storm, there were ticker tape parades. There were programs. There were bands. They gave us gifts. And right beside me was my husband, and I just felt so bad that didn't happen to him as well. So Vietnam veterans are all personally my heroes. In addition to that, all of the fine gentlemen and ladies who served before me are just unbelievable. They're the ones that made our services the quality that they are today, and they're the ones that made the path for us, and we really appreciate that. And the last heroes that I want to talk about are you, okay? I think you should all look to the right of you. Look at the person on the right of you, and then look at the person to the left of you, okay? Some of those people you are looking at are going to be heroes someday, because they're going to do something very important. They're going to stand up for a principle or a value, and they're going to be up on the stage in their future. So again, thank you for having me come and talk to you. I really appreciate the opportunity, and God bless America.